This is Sex Drive, your podcast straight from the road. Welcome to a ride where pleasure meets the everyday and nothing is off limits. Good morning from my car on this very wet and rainy day in Cape Town. I've got my cup of coffee and I want to tell you a story today. 10 years ago, I think I woke up one morning and realized that I had a serious issue with the sex that I was having or not having. I didn't quite know how to fix it. Every time I brought it up with my partner, what happened was we ended up in a huge fight because we had no idea how to talk about this, how to navigate this. My dissatisfaction, his need to satisfy me, my inability to communicate what I wanted, my absolute non-knowledge of what it was that I wanted. And so I went looking. I started searching the internet, I started talking to friends, and I eventually found Betty Dodson, queen of masturbation, and signed up to the program, and it changed my life. So today I want to talk to you about self-love, about masturbation, about knowing your body and why it is important to figure out what it is that you want. Two cornerstones in Betty Dodson's approach are she called vulva massage and genital show and tell. It means building a connection with something that has been forgotten, not spoken about, shamed, traumatized for way too many years. It means looking at yourself in a non-sexual context, enjoying what you see and touching yourself in a non-sexual way by just finding out what does it feel to touch that body part. Is there a difference if I slightly caress and push really hard? I know that this is something that a lot of people struggle with, but I often say, think about the hand, and now try to do that with your hand and see, is there a difference if I touch a different finger? Is there a difference if I just slightly touch it, or if I pinch it, or if I knock on it? And learn, okay, so if that is done to my middle finger, I don't like that. And if that is done to my ring finger, oh my gosh, that feels really good. And then maybe if you try today and again in 2 days and again in 6 days, you realize that it's different. All of a sudden that ring finger, you don't want that ring finger to be touched today. But the middle finger, there's something interesting in the middle finger. How about that? Let's explore that. It's the exact same thing when it comes to the genitals. Now, why is it important to look at yourself, to get to know yourself? Because if you want to communicate to a partner what it is you want, then you need to be able to navigate that with your words. It's language that we are lacking, but that we can build easily with practice. We want to be able to communicate exactly what it is that we want and what it is that we like and enjoy, because that is the foundation to figuring out intimacy with yourself and with a partner. I've been asked often if orgasm is necessary for what we consider good sex, and my answer is always yes and no. And why is that? Because no, you don't need to reach climax in an intimate situation if that is what you are choosing. If you're choosing not to reach orgasm, then that's absolutely okay, and you can still have a beautiful intimate experience. If, however, it is something that's up to fate, something where you're not sure because you don't really know how to, you're not even sure if you can, then that's an absolute and wholehearted yes. Then orgasm is really important. We need to look at that, and we need to make sure that we can reach climax. That is exactly where I was at. I would sometimes reach climax, knew that I wanted it, but didn't know how to get there. Well, when I started my body sex Betty Dodson journey, I learned what there is to know about my body, about my vulva, about my pleasure. Now, the beautiful thing about solo sex is that it offers this wide range of benefits that you can choose to bring into your life at any given point on your own. All the benefits that are linked to orgasm, which is you sleep better, your hormones are in balance. It's a natural healer, it's a natural painkiller, it's a stress release. That's why it's there. Now, that is one thing, right? And then there is the part of being intimate with yourself, of loving yourself, of taking time for yourself, for your pleasure, for indulging in what feels good, and through that, learning and figuring out what it is that you actually like, to then communicate again to a partner, and not just somewhere down there, but quite specifically, that is what I like today, and this is what I want today. It is like learning a new language, but the more you practice it, the better you get at it. And I promise you, the first 10 times it may feel a bit strange to say those things out loud, but then it becomes better and easier and just part of your lingo. We also kind of have to practice to step out of what it is that we are fed with, what it is that we constantly see on the media. If you look at any movie where there's any kind of intimacy, the lights are dimmed, if not switched off, it's eyes closed, nobody ever speaks, nobody ever laughs, it's such a serious matter, and it shouldn't be. Look at intimacy as our adult playground, where we get to explore and do silly things that sometimes go wrong, where we get to giggle, where we get to laugh, where we get to joke, where we get to do all of these things. And I promise you, all of this that I'm speaking about sounded so scary and so far off for me 10 years ago. I could not imagine ever being in the situation that I'm in today, where I get to choose what I want and when I want it. But now let's bring it back to masturbation and solo sex and getting to know yourself, learning to communicate to yourself, and building those connections between I look at myself, I touch myself, I see myself, I feel myself. Your brain is connecting those dots that have been there all the time, but that you have never been encouraged to connect. And all of a sudden you realize, when you're connecting to this part where all the fire comes from, where all life comes from, you realize that you've actually been missing out. I realized that I've actually been missing out on so much. There is so much misunderstanding and misconception around the way our genitals look and the way they should look and what they should do, and not enough on the diversity, the beauty, the purpose of the vulva. When I discovered Betty Dodson and decided to go down that route, I did it because I wanted to know how I can make my orgasm my own, how I can be in charge of that. And what happened in that process was that there was so much shame and trauma released, and so much power brought back into my life, into my day-to-day, that had absolutely nothing to do with sexual intimacy or anything sexual for that matter, but just with the way I carried myself, the way I expressed myself, the way I allowed myself to tap into my power, realizing that I had been disconnected for so long from such an essential part. I had given birth 3 times, and I had never truly looked at myself, let alone figured out how to please myself in a way that was truly satisfying, truly, not quick release, but truly intimately pleasurable. And to then connect those dots and bring them into my partner sex has changed my life. It has changed my relationship. It has changed everything. So I've become an advocate for pleasure, not just sexual pleasure, but sexual pleasure too. It does not start in the bedroom. It does not end in the bedroom. There's a whole lot of things built around it. If you look at my Instagram channel on iska.rosa, you will see that we're communicating quite a bit on what pleasure all means. I am standing here on the side of the road today looking out at the ocean, and it is so gorgeous. It is bringing me so much joy and so much pleasure. And the reason why I can tap into this is because I have learned how to make myself important enough and how to indulge into that feeling of, what is this doing to me? What is this beautiful moment doing to my nervous system if I take a moment and allow it to unfold its magic? It really is spectacular. So I want to encourage you, take some time, get a mirror, get some lube, look at yourself, touch yourself, see what it feels like, see what it looks like. Try to keep an open mind and be kind to yourself and just see what happens.
I moved to Cape Town in search of a slower, sweeter life and found a place that cracked me open in the most beautiful ways possible. So I'm taking you with me to the places that keep me grounded, curious, and connected. If you enjoyed today's conversation, please don't forget to give us a follow. If you have any feedback or suggestions for future conversations, please drop me a message on WhatsApp on 064 609 4089. Now lean back and enjoy Clay Phillips and Brendan Adams, who will be taking you to where proteas grow wild. Thanks for riding with me. Be safe, stay curious.
Step out of your life for a while. Leave where you are, take a ride. Breathe in the air, go to where proteas grow wild.